Hey folks, just a quick little thing before we get started. Negotiations between the Writers Guild of America and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers has collapsed. As of midnight, May 2nd, 2023, the WGA is on strike. We here at Lost on Lost stand in solidarity with all labor movements.
That's right. Creating film and television is a collaborative art, of course, but it all starts with a script. Good, bad, doesn't matter.
Clearly.
We're in a new era of entertainment. Shorter seasons of television, movies having the option of being released to streaming instead of theaters, and the value of our entertainment being determined by Wall Street earnings instead of what we, the audience, actually want to see.
We're also in an era of unchecked corporate greed and wealth inequality. The WGA's demands are not only reasonable, but they're a necessary bulwark against further labor exploitation, not only in entertainment, but in other industries.
The bosses are always going to try and squeeze, but labor has the power as long as we stand in solidarity against those who would exploit us.
Corporate greed led to the strike back in 2007, and Lost 4th season was shortened by that strike. So right now, your favorite shows and the people that work on them are already being affected by this one.
That's right. During the 100 days of the 2007-2008 writers' strike, the AMPTP cost the economy of Los Angeles an estimated 38,000 jobs, and it cost us Lost fans 2 episodes, which would have given us a more in-depth look into the lives of Miles and Daniel and Charlotte.
Wait, who?
The WGA isn't asking for the world. They just want fair compensation for the work they do and the product that they create. These companies would rather see people out of work for potentially months on end rather than part with just a couple of % of their corporate profits.
In the show notes, we're going to link a community fund where you can support the film and television professionals who are being affected by the AMPTP's douchebaggery and general unwillingness to negotiate with the writers. Go to entertainmentcommunity.org and click donate. Once there, you can use the drop-down and direct your gifts specifically to film and television to support our writers and below-the-line laborer who are standing in solidarity with the WGA. We here on Lost don't fucking cross picket lines. We stand with the WGA. Workers of the world unite. Solidarity forever.
If we don't live together, we're gonna die alone.
Wait, what? Hi, I'm JP.
And I'm Adam.
I've never seen Lost.
I have.
I'm told that it's good.
I liked it.
I'm told that it made sense.
Sort of.
But we're watching it out of order.
So it definitely won't make sense.
But it might still be good. Since we won't expect it to make sense, we'll still be able to appreciate each episode on its own merits as a 1-hour story.
Sometimes 2 or 3.
As opposed to just a fraction of an ongoing, sprawling, and increasingly complex tangle of relationships, personal stories, mysteries, mythologies, experiments, social dynamics, unnatural disasters, unanswered questions, and hot tropical hookups.
Are you okay?
I'm not sure.
Because you lost me a little bit there at the end.
Well, good, because I've been lost since the beginning.
We're Lost on Lost.
Welcome, everybody, to Lost on Lost. Hey, I'm JP Russell, and I'm joined, as always, by everybody's favorite box man, Adam Busher.
That's me, baby. If I'm in a box, I'm near a box, I'm playing with a box. I love boxes, and honestly, who doesn't? I'm like a cat.
You are a box.
Yeah.
Hey, Adam, did you know that sharks have been on Earth longer than trees?
For the purposes of this bit, no.
Oh, yeah, they've been around about 400 million years and have survived 5 global mass extinction events. Yet today they face extinction due to humanity and those sweet, sweet Italian Beretta pistols. Today we're talking about Adrift, the 2nd episode of Season 2 and the 27th episode of Lost overall. Our centric character is our centric character is a father named Michael Dawson. Adrift takes place on the 44th and 45th days after the crash of Oceanic Flight 815. Adam.
Yes.
Do you have a recap?
I certainly do.
Please do it.
Hell yeah, pontoon boat! On the island. Remember back in March when we wondered why they only wrote half an episode? Well, here's the other half. And in the before times, whoever said beating a dead horse couldn't be fun? Oh yeah, everyone! You ever work with 2 people and one of them calls in sick one day and you're stuck with the shitty one and it makes you wish a shark would eat you? Draining the vines, you're straining my last nerve. It's Adrift here on Lost on Lost.
My boss always says there's no point in beating a dead horse except for the pure pleasure in it.
JP.
Yes.
We have a guest.
I'm shocked.
They keep coming back like flies to like a thing, that buzzing thing that shocks flies, a mosquito zapper. A light, a moth to a flame. Metaphor of some sort. Please welcome to the show, LoLheads, one Charlie Moe.
Hi, I'm waving, but you can't see it.
Oh, yes. The curse of the audio medium.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie, welcome to Lost on Lost. This is your first episode with us.
Yes, very excited. I was supposed to come on a while ago, but that didn't happen.
We'll blame Adam. It's fine.
It's likely my fault, yeah.
I think it's because I was going to watch a bunch of movies, and then I did that instead of talk to you guys.
Time well spent.
Yes.
Charlie, tell the folks at home, what is your relationship with the ABC television program Lost?
I watched the plane crash scene in college and
Fuck yeah.
in some, I think, Doug Heil class.
Sounds right.
Wait, you're sure it
and-
wasn't 9/11, right?
Yeah, it wasn't 9/11.
Okay, just make sure.
And then one of our friends, he really loved the show, and so he just basically told me the entire plot of the last season.
He should be on the podcast. That's what we're doing.
That's about it. Just those two things. Watched the
Okay.
plane crash scene and secondhand heard the entire last season plot.
Outstanding. But outside of watching single episodes of old television shows, Charlie, you're a bit of a media critic.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you tell the folks at home a little bit about your YouTube channel?
Okay, yeah, sure. Since the dawn of COVID, as a coping mechanism for just all the world going to hell, I decided to start watching a movie every single day, new movie every single day, and haven't stopped for the last, just
3 years.
Just over, 3 years now.
Yeah.
So it's over 1,000. I think it's like 1,130 movies.
Holy
Jeepers
shit.
creepers.
Yep.
I've actually used your reviews of things as a resource to either watch or not watch things. So
Nice.
we'll do a plug at the end, but folks, go check out Charlie's Charlie's content because it's very good.
So
Thanks.
based on that, then, would you consider yourself more of a movie guy than a TV guy? Like, do you watch a lot of, like, television compared to movies, or, like, do you prefer one versus the other?
I definitely watch way more movies than television. Like, it used to be, I would say it used to be more of the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
But just like now, like people recommend shows to me all the time, and I'm like, that's a big time commitment. I want to watch a bunch of different movies rather than that one TV show.
Fuck yeah. All right, today we're talking about Adrift. Adrift originally aired on September 28th, 2005. It was written by Stephen Media and Leonard Dick and was directed by Stephen Williams. Stephen Media was the executive producer on Pan Am. Who let this guy near another airliner? Leonard Dick is a hack, produced The Hack, and Stephen Williams directed Person of Interest. Sadly, not a show about me.
I have a couple of questions about this.
Yeah.
Is Leonard Dick any relation to Philip K. Dick? That can be a rhetorical question. I don't expect anybody to know the answer.
No, but they're both related to Dick Wolf on opposite sides of the family.
I'm related to Dick Wolf through marriage. Inside of you, there are two wolves, and one of them's Dick Wolf. The other question I had was, did you guys ever watch Pan Am when it was on the air?
No.
I think I watched like the first 2 episodes.
Same, because I'll watch anything with Christina Ricci in it, because I love her.
Ooh.
I just remember in the pilot, they were like, oh, Pan Am's this kick-ass, just a big deal airline, and Christina Ricci is the most important flight attendant. I think they called them stewardesses at the time, or air hostesses, and she's like the fucking ringer. And so, like, I remember there's just a scene in the first episode of Christina Ricci being flown to like the roof of the Pan Am building in a fucking helicopter so that she can make it
Nice.
to this flight that's about to take off, because that's how important of a stewardess she was. And it was about that time that I was like, I might watch one more episode of this.
Her
Margot
beauty
Robbie's
only
also
goes
in
so
that.
far.
Would you say Margot Robbie's in there?
Yeah, Margot Robbie's also in that.
Oh, fuck
Oh,
yes.
shit.
Yeah, she's second billed at IMDb.
That's
I went to a
bonkers.
Pan Am store in the Seattle airport, and it was overpriced.
Those are my questions.
They were questions. We start off in the water. We're sort of in media res here, right?
Mhm. Yeah, in media res, because this is half an episode.
Yeah, that's. We'll fucking get into
Yeah,
that.
we'll talk about it. I wrote Raft Aftermath here, and I was very proud of the rhyme. So
After Raft.
there we go. There it is.
The beginning shot is done with like some sort of underwater housing, and sometimes when like your camera's running hot and the water's really cold, if you haven't done like a no fog solution on the inside of the housing, you get a lot of like fogginess, especially when lights are blowing right into the lens, and you definitely get sort of that feel, but because like literally an explosion just sort of happened, it kind of works because it feels dirty, it feels confusing, it feels kind of hazy, and Sawyer's just swimming for his life.
I definitely felt disoriented during this opening. Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Sawyer, it's so like for those of you that don't know, there were 4 people on this raft. There are now 3 people. We see 2 of them, Sawyer and Michael. We hear Jin briefly, right? Or do we see Jin?
I didn't see him, but
because I think I think you can hear Jin shouting for Sawyer, like Sawyer, Michael. Yeah. But we see Sawyer and Michael, and Michael is screaming for Walt, which he is wont to do. So much so that he exhausts himself and begins to drown.
Okay. Yes, drowns. He's under the water for like 5 seconds.
I mean, you can drown in like just a couple of inches of water, so you know.
I know,
yeah, but it
like,
takes time.
Yeah. How long was Boone under the water? We didn't even know Boone was underwater. He was underwater so long, and he was fine.
Well, he has lifeguard training. That's why.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
But Sawyer saves him. Sawyer, there was something really heartening to me personally. This probably won't happen to you, Charlie, at all, having seen 40 seconds of this show in the past. But Sawyer usually just calls people by nicknames. For him to constantly be shouting Mike, Mike, Mike.
Yeah.
That actually, not only do most people call him Michael, almost nobody calls him Mike, but there was something about that made me feel a connection. Sawyer, like,
right,
as self-centered as he is, he really does not want Michael to die or drown here. So for him to finally,
it's almost like a buddy, like Mike, I need you to be okay, Mike. Hey, pal.
Yeah, exactly. So that was interesting for me, having been rewatching this show.
Yeah. We cut to the hatch. We here on Lost on Lost have seen this. We already know how this whole situation resolves, not only because we've seen future episodes, but because the episode before this shows us all of this already. And it's wildly uninteresting, but Locke goes down the hole.
I'm pretty sure that, like, save for the part where we see Locke taking off his shoes, those were just shots from that other episode. Like, him tying off the rope, him, like, Kate, are you okay? Like, I think that was all just reused footage. Because this episode literally takes place concurrently, timeline-wise, to the season 2, episode 1, the episode that premiered the week before this. So, like, these cover the same exact time periods.
Right. Yeah.
So,
yeah. And then we get a Little Caesars commercial.
Did it bother you guys that he took off his shoes but left his socks on, even though the floor was wet? So he's just going to walk around with really wet socks for the rest of the episode?
I noticed that. It didn't necessarily bother me because I was watching him take off his shoes, and I was like, and we talked about this in the previous episode because we see just his shoes. When Jack enters, whatever. And JP, you were like, well, this is how, it's tactically smart. He can sneak around. His footfalls will be quiet or whatever. And so, like, takes off his shoes and like, smart. And then I was like, his socks are going to get all wet. He's going to have yucky toes. But then I thought to myself, I was like, but I don't think I'd take my socks off because I think that floor might be gross.
I hate the feeling of wet socks.
Yeah.
It's the worst fucking feeling, but it happens to me like every day because my shoes are terrible. So it really bothered me. I hated it.
That makes total sense to me. And I support you.
Thanks.
I saw him take them shoes off and I said, hey, sweet baby boy, what them feet do? We're going to add all of that in during that scene, though, because we skipped ahead a little bit.
What do you mean? Do we not see that?
He doesn't take his shoes off until he's actually... No, that's not now. That's later.
I should have taken more detailed notes. This is what happens to me when I'm not being entertained by what's happening in the scene. My notes are very short and vague. So I just wrote, Locke loses Kate down the hatch, follows her in. That's my note for this.
That's it. That's all that happens. And then we get the cold open. Then we cut back to the raft. Sawyer trying to resuscitate Michael.
I love this.
Yeah,
this is my favorite type of CPR where you're just pounding on the guy's chest with your entire arm.
I mean, you might have to break their sternum.
Yeah.
It's also not going to work because he's in the water, or on the raft. So it's just going to go down into the water as he's pushing down. So his chest isn't really going to compress at all.
Yeah. He switches to the correct version of it, but yeah, I got to imagine that it's not super effective, but it does work, I guess, because
he does the TV resuscitation where he worked on him for 10 seconds, therefore he must live. Walt!
I got a more important question. Where's Jin?
Yeah.
We heard Jin in the beginning, and now we're not hearing Jin anymore.
Yeah.
And that's not great.
Upsetting.
Yes.
Cut to a flashback.
Yeah.
Michael's in a lawyer's office.
Yeah. So like the gist of it, it's weird here because I throughout this, I was having a hard time finding ways to make the dynamics of custody battles and family law funny for myself. But the gist of the scene is the lawyer is saying it's a David and Goliath thing. Michael doesn't have much going for him in the battle that is to come, and on top of that, he can't afford the battle.
Right.
The only thing that stuck out to me was like, again, I got a little distracted because outside of this lawyer's window, you can see the Twin Towers.
Oh,
really?
can you?
Yeah.
Fucking
What?
Yeah, you can. There's like a shot of the World Trade Center out of this dude's window to A, establish that it's in New York, and B, establish that it's several years prior to 2004, which this show takes place in.
Oh boy. Oh jeez. Yeah, but this is about as interesting as just seeing your own lawyer. The guy's like, he's pretty shitty at selling himself. He's like, listen, this kind of stuff costs money, and you came through my door, which means that you don't have money. Therefore, you should probably just let this go because you're not going to win.
This dude is. I felt like I recognized him. I'm looking at the Lostpedia page right now.
Oh,
to
yeah.
confirm.
he's in Warehouse 13.
There you go.
It's Saul Rubinek. Yeah. As I say, he's in Warehouse 13, and he's in a bunch of other stuff too. He was a pretty major like one-off episode character in an episode of The Next Generation. Like this dude's been around, and so it was cool to see. I was like, okay, you did exactly what The Next Generation did. You got a great actor in to come in and deliver 12 lines. So neat. Yeah, Saul Rubinek. Saul, the big fight that they're talking about is a custody thing for Walt.
Yeah.
Susan wants Michael to sign away his paternal rights so that known piece of shit Brian Porter can't adopt him.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough sledding because he's dead and he's broke and blah 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 blah, and he doesn't have a good lawyer apparently. We come back to the raft.
Yeah.
I hope you have some
Michael's
notes here.
still just yelling for Walt.
Yep.
Walt!
I gotta assume this is the point where Sawyer is annoyed with him and tells him to save his energy. Again, my note here is Michael shouts for Walt.
It's I'm yelling for. Well, he's on a boat. If he's on a boat, that means he can hear me. If he can hear me, he knows I'm coming. Does that make sense to you? And it's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, all right, sure.
Did you see that boat though? It had a Mercury outboard engine. No, you can't hear nobody
hear
over,
nothing
that,
over that,
baby.
Oh, man.
Purrs like a shovel.
35 horses, raw tugboat and power.
Plus Tom Friendly's probably blasting Panama on the way back. You know, he's a real Van Halen type. So he's got the beard off. He's like, he can finally breathe now.
Yep, just cracked open a couple of fucking Coronas. Just like, way to go, everybody! Successful kidnapping. Cheers.
Cheeseburger in paradise. Kidnap Michael's kid and I don't think twice. Anyways, cut to the hatch. Locke's looking for Kate. This is where we got sock talk.
Yep, this is the foot stuff.
This is the good foot stuff, baby.
So Locke is looking for Kate. He knows that something is weird here, so he's not just like he doesn't ascribe to the Michael Dawson school of searching for a missing loved one and just shrieking her name at the top of his lungs.
Although every time I can't find Kai in the house, I do just scream her name at the top of my lungs. Yeah.
Kai! She's like sitting next to you on the couch. What? Oh, sorry. I have face blindness.
Yeah. You look like a couch. So yeah, he takes off his shoes. He's getting all sneaky because he's got squeaky shoes. Mm-hmm. He looks at like the Dharma sticker on like a junction box or an electrical box or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Is this the first time we're like canonically people are seeing Dharma? Maybe.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. But he's John Locke's pretty fascinated with that sticker. He notices a window and he opens it up and it's just like an artificial light. Very clever from a production standpoint because now you can have directional light as opposed to just overhead.
Yep.
He's kind of snooping around and he finds Kate on the ground, and he fell for the old switcheroo because Desmond's right behind him with a rifle, and he says, "Are you him?"
The funny thing about that line is different here in 2023 than it is in 2005, because in 2005 it was pretty innocuous. Are you him? Are you? But now it's like, due to meme culture and shit like that, it's like, are you him? It's like, I'll never be him. Like,
cut to John Locke thinking about the Killdozer
or Nacho Libre.
Oh my god.
Up through this point, Charlie, how are you feeling? Desmond appears with the gun.
Well, I immediately started thinking about Blast from the Past, just because it's a fucker. And how much I love that movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's in my top 15 right now for the year.
Really?
Wow. That's a quick side, yeah.
Oscar-winning Brendan
Oh, is
Fraser.
it?
No,
Oh, okay.
Oscar-winning actor Brendan Fraser in not Oscar-winning film Blast from the Past.
Should have been. It's great. It's charming.
Okay, so yeah, I see the parallels there. Blast from the Past, that makes total sense. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm fine. I'm okay in general.
Yeah.
That's where we're at, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like I'm liking this story more than the other stories.
Oh yeah.
Like at this point, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Unfortunately for us, we've seen this story already. So like,
well, again, like I said earlier, this Adrift it covers the same time period of the island. In Man of Science, Man of Faith, we see this story from basically Jack Shepard's perspective, and we do not see Locke and Kate's perspective of these events at all.
That explains why Jack just like runs in out of nowhere.
yeah.
It's like that made no sense. I'm just like, we see him for 2 seconds and then he's just like really intense down in the bunker.
Yeah,
well, I'm jumping ahead, but yeah.
Cut back to the raft. Okay, so this, for me personally, was rather exhausting.
Yes.
I don't know about the two of you, but in general, not even in life or death situations, searching for who is to blame for a problem isn't necessarily always that helpful. Sure, it can lead to why the mistake was made and how to fix it, but the blame is so unimportant compared to the actual problem and then the solution for it.
Sure.
They don't even have a problem to solve here. Michael is just blaming Sawyer for Walt being kidnapped.
Right.
And granted, he's emotional, he's out of sorts, etc. Extenuating circumstances, his son's been kidnapped or whatever. But that's what this scene is.
Right.
This is your fault. Us being abandoned on a raft? Okay, do you feel better now that you've blamed me?
Right. I don't know. Maybe who's to blame is the fucking kidnappers? I don't know.
No, that's too easy.
Who's to blame here? The actual villain? No.
Absolutely not. Tom Friendly's too friendly.
It's right there. If he was the bad guy, they would have called him Tom Villain. Duh.
There's also, there's a bunch of sort of logic jumps that Michael is making here that just like, because we start the scene with Sawyer calling out for Jin, right? Like our best boy Jin. And Michael's like, I thought we had to save our energy. It's fucking different. We saw Walt get on a boat with other people who took him captive, and we know that they're away now because we can't hear the boat anymore. Our good buddy Jin is somewhere in the water dying, and we're trying to find him because they didn't take Jin with, right? Two different things.
It's different because the water nearby is completely safe, and there's no danger that any of them are facing being in the water at night. Oh wait, there's a shark.
Shark.
Raft goes in the water.
Cage in the water.
Sharks
in the water.
Our shark. Fuck, that's a good movie.
Dude, I just rewatched a bunch of Jaws clips after I watched this. It's such a good fucking movie.
I fucking hate the ocean. I fucking hate sharks. I will watch Jaws 1,000 times.
Yes. As long as it's on TBS during like a Sunday afternoon with commercials. That's the best way to watch Bloodsport and Jaws.
Here's the swimming with bow-legged women. But yeah, there's a shark. And of course there would be. Sawyer's bleeding to death.
Yeah.
Okay, this was also fucking bonkers. After I was exhausted by the blame game, a man with one useful arm attempts to check if the magazine of his weapon, if the ammo in his magazine is still dry, if the powder in the ammunition in the magazine is still dry, and so he takes his one good arm and starts emptying his magazine into his other useless arm.
Yes.
On a boat that is actively being attacked by a shark.
Yes. All checks out to me.
Yeah. And so, yeah, the raft gets bumped and he drops all of his ammo into the water. Not all of it, some of it.
Hey,
happens to the best of us, right? Happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Hey, folks listening at home, I'm your good buddy, JP. Like, if you kept bullets underwater for like a year, yeah, they'd probably get real waterlogged, but they're meant to be a sealed system, and you can dunk them in the water for a while and they're fine. Also, there's no way to check to see if the powder has been contaminated by water unless you try to fire it, or
I was gonna say it would be rendered useless if you were able to open it and see if the powder was dry.
Precisely. So yeah, this is some TV bullshit where it's like, my gun's wet. Shake it out. It's probably fine.
And it's a Beretta, right? Like that's a fairly reliable handgun, isn't it?
It'll eat what you feed it. Anyways.
Fuck it. I'm getting my own raft of blackjack and hookers.
Oh man. Yeah, I wrote what about second raft? I was trying to save your damn kid. I'm going over here. I'm a pouting raft.
Pouting raft.
My rage raft. That's what it is.
Oh god. Cut to a flashback.
Yeah, cut to the lawyer's office. This is do you recognize this lawyer's office, Adam?
No. Should
This
I?
is the same office that Claire was in with the foster family that, you know, the people that eat kids that she was going to give her kids to.
Oh shit, no way.
Yeah, it's the same office.
Neat. Those are in two disparate locations within on the globe.
I don't know. I don't think it was intended to be, but it's absolutely the same set.
That's hilarious. Because, yeah, this is supposed to be New York City. Claire had that meeting with the baby eaters in Sydney, I think? Yeah. Somewhere. Yeah. Cool. My only note here is that family law is horrible.
Yeah.
And Susan's lawyer is a cunt.
Capital C. Yeah, it's just like a comically evil scene of Susan's lawyer being like, "What's your son's favorite food, Michael?" And he's like, "I don't know. I don't have custody of him." Like,
right. It's people going out of their way to make things that make perfect sense seem fucking terrible and make the people unable to answer the question like horrible absent parents. Michael can't see his son because Susan is keeping him away from Michael.
Right. Now, I'm not... can Susan provide more for Walt, you know, financially? Probably. Can she get him into better schools? Sure. That doesn't negate the fact that Michael has some parental rights. So we need to, I don't know, take some of that money and, you know, fly him back for one weekend a month or something like that so the kid can see his dad, or every couple of months. Like, the whole argument that this lawyer has of like, well, why weren't you there for any of this? It's like, because she took him across the globe. Right. Like, that's why we're here, to set up some sort of ground rules. Right. And yeah, they just make Michael look like a big dumb idiot.
Yeah. He got hit by a car.
Yeah.
Like, there was a chunk of it. Even if she lived in, like, next to him, he was in the hospital for question mark amount of time.
Yeah.
Do you have any jokes you want to make about this, Charlie?
No, I'm just kind of curious why they didn't, like, the kid's like, I don't know, 4 years old.
Yeah,
why they
little
didn't,
guy.
do that years earlier in their...
Right.
I assume they were dating at some point or something.
That's an excellent question, Charlie. That's an excellent question.
Right, because I mean, and that is sort of Michael's fault, because Susan took Walt across, you know, to what did he say, Amsterdam or something like that, and like he was just kind of like, well, I didn't know if I could do anything. It's like, all right, obviously you could have spoken up, you didn't. Now we're in court. great. This is wonderful fucking television. Watching other people in family court.
Yeah.
I wanted to make like a Kramer versus Kramer joke, but I didn't really remember that movie that well. I remember liking that movie a lot.
That's supposed to be a good movie, right? Kramer versus.
This is our version of Three Angry Men. That's a 12 Angry Men joke.
Yeah, no, that's good, JP.
Yeah, thanks.
Come back to the raft.
Yeah.
Sawyer tries to remove the bullet from his shoulder with his bare hands.
We call that Louisiana healthcare around here.
Ow.
Yeah, that's the right. Yes, ow. You're crazy. You can't do that by yourself.
Watch me. Does it immediately passes out.
Yeah. Well, he does do it though. It's fucking impressive.
It just made me think, is like, did he get shot with like a 90 caliber bullet? Like, how big was it that he was able to just finger it out of his wound? Like,
yeah, that probably means it's lodged in a bone.
Yeah, it stopped somewhere along the way and hit something horrible.
Maybe they shot him with a wet bullet.
I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah. Cut to the hatch.
Are you him? I'll never be him. Pretty presumptuous of John Locke to be like, yeah, it's me.
You bet.
I'm him.
That's me at every job interview I've ever had.
You him? Yes, 100%.
Shaw.
How was he able to successfully convince the guy that the tiny little woman was more of a threat that needed to be tied up and not like the dude with giant ass arms, like
and a knife
and a knife,
a Dorothy?
He got that Riz, you know.
The confidence of a white man.
Yeah. Maybe he is him. Maybe we've been sitting here saying he's not him. Maybe he is him.
Yeah,
it's true.
Desmond hits him with the old, what's the password?
Yep.
What did one snowman say to the other snowman?
Is there an answer?
Smells like carrots, I think, is the punchline.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or do you smell carrots or something like that? That's supposed to be what the answer is whatever. Okay. So if you ever find yourself, Charlie, in that situation where somebody's they're trying to, figure out if you are him, A, tell them you are him and believe it. But then B, if he hits him with this, smells like carrots. So
John Locke has daddy energy and he should have been able to figure that one out.
That's the thing that irritated the shit out of me. This is a dad joke. Right. John Locke's got dad jokes. Right. Yeah. Smells like carrots. You are him. Here's my AK. I'll see you later.
Desmond's like, all right, so you're not him. Toss Dorothy over there. Why'd you come down here? And he's like, well, we're in a fucking plane crash, dude. He's like, plane crash when? 44 days ago. And they exchange some looks. They're all tossing looks at one another.
Yep, major side eye.
Yeah.
And then, this is where Desmond's like, I don't care. Tie yourself, or hey, Kate. Little, small, unthreatening woman, tie up knife, man, please. And Locke's like, she's a fugitive.
And instead of like instantly like going with the flow, Kate's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, shut up, bitch.
Don't put my shit out here.
I didn't see you doing anything right now. I'm making moves
in front of new people.
So Kate resists when Locke's tied her up, and Desmond points a gun at her and is like, hey, now you're gonna be a good girl, right? And I saw the praise kink light up in Kate's eyes. Kate's into some freaky shit, and she was like, yes, daddy. And then I had to write the sentence, Locke slipped something into her pants, and I hated that.
Yeah, that was classic Locke, though. More than one knife.
Oh, yeah.
You know he's got an extra blade on him. Yeah, I'll put Dorothy down. That doesn't mean that Reba's gone anywhere, you know what I'm saying?
Reba!
Locke tricks Desmond into making Kate seem like the threat because he's got a plan. He's going to slip her a knife so that he's going to tie her up, sure, but he's going to make it so that she can get out once he bamboozles Desmond and is running interference.
Yep.
Technically not a bad idea for thinking on the fly. It doesn't take cluing Kate into the plan other than like she saw him stick his hand way further down her pants than he needed to place that knife. If at least from how it looked to me, it looked like he had it in his fist and just like punched it into her pants.
Punch.
I didn't like it, but it made sense.
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys want to talk about a real meaningless and dumb scene in the caves real quick?
Yeah.
Excellent. So this is where we get Jack telling Hurley that he's gonna go check out the thing. And so yeah, we saw part of this in Man of Science, Man of Faith. All this stuff that's happening with Locke and Desmond and Kate. Jack was coming back here. He was trying to calm people down, whatever. He gave this big speech, which Hurley references. What about all that stuff he just said? He's like, I changed my mind. I got other shit to do later, dude.
I'm talking about old shit. I'm over here talking about new shit.
And so Jack scurries off, leaving Hurley in the caves with Claire and Charlie.
Is that Mary?
Betcha.
Yep.
Yes. Also Belle from Once Upon a Time.
Oh, fuck.
There you go, Charlie. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Charlie, from your perspective, not knowing anything about Lost, really, I'd like to know how this scene sort of made you feel, right? Because up until this point, we've been raft, hatch, flashback, raft, hatch, flashback. And now we're just in the caves in the middle of a scene with some guy named Jack and some other folks just sitting around. Did this at all seem jarring to you?
Yeah, it made no sense.
Oh, good.
But then I saw Mary and it was like, oh, Mary, I love you. And then I was happy for like 15 seconds.
Don't let the goodwill of those 3 very good movies carry this fucking scene.
Also, the baby was cute.
Yeah, a little onion head. Yeah. Aaron. I don't know if he's been named at this point. I think he has. But yeah,
whatever.
I also... So then the importance of the Virgin Mary statue is probably lost on you, Charlie.
Correct.
Do you have any theories, Charlie, as to what's the deal with the Virgin Mary statue?
It's going to save the day at some point by bleeding out of some sort of orifice.
That would have been awesome if that
would
had
have been
happened.
fucking dope.
Yeah.
But instead, what's in it is dope.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's heroin.
Oh, like actual dope. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good to have
fun.
around. Just
Do they know that it's filled with that?
Somebody does.
Charlie's a heroin addict.
Oh, nice. I mean, someone's got to be.
Yeah. Right. Cut to the raft. Back to the raft. Sawyer knows that the kidnappers were the others. That's my note. They have a conversation.
That boat is too small.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And I was just sitting there, in my head, I was just what's a fighter that size doing this far out? Maybe it came from that moon. Like, that's what I was thinking of in my head, like, just from Star Wars.
It's not that.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, Sawyer's like, they found us because they were looking for Walt.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they came here, they immediately took the kid. Like, that was their stated premise, and then they took him. So, like, fuck you for blaming me or
Get
anybody
on my
else.
Shit.
Yeah. Michael gets all shitty, like, don't you say his name. And I'm just like...
Fuck are you gonna do about it? I have one good arm, and I would still beat the ever-loving fuck out of you. Plus, I have a gun.
Yeah.
Don't you say his name. Don't make me fucking swim back over there and cold cock you.
Well, no, he says, don't say his name. Or what? You'll splash me? And then he splashes him, and then the raft falls apart.
And then he does have to swim back over there.
Yeah.
I really hated that. Is this show a comedy? Because that was...
Sometimes intentionally, sometimes accidentally.
Yep. And
then Michael hits him with the, just shut up. You have no idea what it's like to care for somebody else. That's a bold fucking statement, my guy.
Yeah. Do you remember 14 minutes ago when I saved your fucking life?
Right. Yeah.
I cared enough about you to not let you drown.
Yeah, a few minutes ago, I had a bullet lodged in my fucking arm. You can go to hell with your self-righteous fucking attitude.
Unreal. Cut to a flashback.
Oh, I love litigation.
I also love this argument from Susan. Hey, I think you're gonna win. Why don't you quit?
Oh, dude, she doesn't think he's gonna win. It's reverse psychology. 100%.
Absolutely.
She's like,
There's
he's
no
an
way.
idiot. Like, he'll fall for this.
Exactly. Like, it's like, it's such a disingenuous argument from her. Like,
yeah.
And I also, part of me wants to think that Michael doesn't believe that she's making this argument either. Like, he doesn't believe that she thinks Michael's gonna win.
It's if he hears it from her, he can convince himself that it's true.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
She's saying like, oh, I'll be able to give Walt whatever he needs, and you're poor, and you can just focus on taking care of yourself, and you can focus on your art, and how can you do all those things and focus on Walt? And he'll be like, yeah, you know what? You're right. This is my out. She just gave me the argument. She gave me something to rationalize because he's a fucking deadbeat dad.
Charlie, you haven't had to suffer through multiple iterations of this, but this happens. We've seen this, and it's fucking tiring.
With Michael specifically, or multiple characters?
Specifically
with Michael.
Specifically, Michael. His entire history on the show is just like, he's a deadbeat dad. Against his will, probably. I don't know. Like, but it's like trying to stick fucking Kramer versus Kramer into this, what is supposed to be a lighthearted entertainment show.
Wait, which Kramer is Michael supposed to be?
Meryl Streep.
Oh.
There we go.
So then the Seinfeld Kramer is Susan?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Okay.
Cut to the hatch! Kate gets out.
Wow.
It works exactly the way it's supposed to. She gets thrown into a room. She's tied up, but she gets the knife out. She cuts herself free in kind of a bonkers way. I feel like if she had enough hand dexterity to get the knife out of her drawers, she could have just cut it free. But like, she puts the blade in between her knees and like saws on it like that.
Right.
That was weird.
I feel like she struggled for such a long time just to get her hands from behind her back to the front of her. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that should be the easiest part.
Yeah, especially since she's not that tall. Like,
Yeah.
unless she's like all leg, but again,
Yeah.
she's like 5'4", whatever. She turns on the light and she realizes that she's in a pantry full of snacks.
Hell yeah, baby. Love snacks.
Love it. Olives, olive oil, crackers.
No, those olives are explosives, Adam.
Oh shit! Pickles, ranch dressing,
Oh,
all
love
kinds of
Dharma
shit.
Ranch.
It's huge. It's packed. She's pretty objective focused here, but she does take time to grab a cheeky little candy bar.
An Apollo bar.
Yeah, snacks on one and grabs a couple for the road.
In a non-sexual way, I did enjoy watching her eat chocolate.
I agree.
She does a good job of being like, oh, fuck. Like, listen, I know I gotta go save that bald white guy, but like, fuck, a candy bar would just smack right now.
Yeah, I know we're in a time crunch here, but I got a little time.
We're in a time crunch, but I got to crunch on some of these potato chips. That would have been the best part of when she's in the vent. She's also got like a fucking bag of chips in each hand or a bar, and she's like, every time she brings an arm forward, she's taking a bite.
Yeah. She's got like a Diet Coke in the crook of her elbow. It's just like her hands are a candy bar in one hand, bag of chips in the other, soda. Just like she's already got a red vine like in her mouth. Like,
I can't even remember the last time I had a Josta.
What is the food situation like on the island? Like, do they eat regularly, or?
yes, they eat regularly, but not a lot.
Okay.
That's
Yes.
basically what they've been deciding on for the past month and a half, is just whatever they can forage, and it's not much.
Mhm.
It's enough so that nobody's literally starving, but I'm sure everybody's hungry.
Right. No one's starved to death.
Right.
Okay.
We have not resorted to cannibalism yet.
Yet.
I mean, me personally, I feel like I would have just stayed in the food room and just continued to eat and just said, fuck everyone else.
Yeah, like just like
Right.
Desmond comes back and she's just like in there with chocolate on her face and just like, I thought I tied you up. You know what? That part's not important. Did you save any candy bars for me? No.
It's that scene in Muppet Treasure Island when Rizzo gets into all the food and then he can't move because he's got that big, like, distended stomach.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
Anyways.
I should rewatch that.
Yeah, you should.
Continuous in the hatch still. We don't cut away from the hatch.
Yeah.
We just cut to Locke talking to Desmond. Yeah, a little bit of exposition here. We crash landed on an island. There's X number of us. Some of us left on a raft recently. While they're talking, the button starts to go off.
Well, Desmond also asks them how many of your group have gotten sick.
Yeah. Locke asks, is that why the door said quarantine? Yeah, this potential sickness is forefront in Desmond's mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, then this buzzer starts to go off. Right around also the same time, we hear Jack shouting down the corridor.
Yeah.
Locke, Kate, somebody.
Yeah.
Don't forget, I'm here also.
I'm the main character. But yeah, Desmond has Locke enter the numbers. So this is our first time seeing, in the show, chronologically, seeing the numbers.
forces him to do it at gunpoint. Locke is confused and is well within his rights to do so. What happens if I push this button? What's going but he does it because he's at gunpoint.
Yeah.
Jack makes his way into the computer room after Desmond and Locke. They go to the telescope or whatever. Kate is in the crawl space. She's doing her Die Hard thing.
What was that telescope? I didn't understand how that thing worked.
Yeah.
In lieu of an internal camera CCTV sort of situation, using these little motorized mirrors and this telescope that somebody in the hatch from a central location can view the various corridors and hallways from this telescope is what it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Yeah, it's odd because the hatch isn't really that big, but...
So... I just took an urban rifle course a few days ago, and we actually talked about the importance of mirrors and reflective surfaces in sort of your home defense plan, which is a thing. However, a mirror to a mirror through a telescope without additional lensing, your field of view would have to be so narrow that you effectively wouldn't be able to see anything past the first mirror. That's not how mirrors work. That's not how optics work.
That makes sense.
Whatever.
I think we've seen in other episodes, Desmond use the mirrors to shine light down tunnels too. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that's more believable.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. Jack wanders into the computer room and Kate can see him, but Desmond at this time has started blasting Mama Cass. Yeah. And Jack cannot hear Kate shouting for him.
He can't hear her over the sound of her crunching down on some fucking trail mix. I got all this taffy in my mouth.
Taffy was a bad idea.
I feel like the only reason they put Kate in the air vent was so that we could get a long shot of her cleavage for
I do remember thinking to myself, I was like, man, this feels so gratuitous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's fucking awesome. Anyways,
this is, again, we saw this in Man of Science, Man of Faith. They have this little standoff. Yep. Jack sees Locke being held at gunpoint by Desmond. Desmond fires off a shot to sort of scare everybody. We find out here that he almost blasted Kate in the face. We didn't see that in Man of Science, Man of Faith. We see it here. But then Jack recognizes Desmond. You? They know each other. Oh,
yeah.
Neat.
Thank you. My sentiment exactly.
Yeah. Cut to the raft. Sawyer sees an even bigger piece of broken raft, a pontoon.
Oh my god. What's that? It's part of the raft, moron. You
guys spent weeks building it together.
It's honestly the most recognizable part of the raft. The pontoon. Whatever. I'm going for it. What about the shark? Here's my gun. Blast it if you see it. Good plan.
Yeah. Okay. Again, he just, without asking if he knows how to use a gun.
Hey, guess what? The shark sees a meal and is going for it.
And swims behind Sawyer in that really slow way that movie sharks do.
But there was the shot of it under the water approaching. Yeah. Did you see it?
See what?
The shark is branded with a large Dharma logo on its tail.
Shut the fuck up.
You didn't see it? It's so much more obvious than I remember it.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember back in the day when I was watching the show, the shark, maybe it was obvious because I knew to look for it, but the shark goes swimming by, and then there's this it's almost like the graphic can't keep up with the shark. It stays on the shark during the shot, but it doesn't look like it stays on the same spot.
I'm looking at it right now. What the fuck?
But yeah, the shark has been branded with a Dharma logo near its tail. Charlie, did you see that?
I did not.
Oh, okay. Because it's very quick. But again, for me, because I was looking for it, maybe that's why it was easy for me to see, because I knew it was coming. But yeah, the shark has a Dharma logo branded on its tail.
I hate that. I don't know how else to convey my anger right now.
The shark, yeah, it's that. But yeah, it goes on to the next shot is the tails, the fin coming up out of the water and following Sawyer. So Michael follows Sawyer's advice and starts shooting at the shark, which is 3.5 feet away from Sawyer.
Sure. Well, at first the gun doesn't work, and Michael knows enough to tap, rack, bang. He actually gets the gun running again, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah. And squeezes off a couple. We see a spurt of blood, and then the shark and Sawyer disappear.
Is that the end of our Cajun hero?
Hey, Michael, why don't you just take this gun and maybe protect me from any sharks spawn on me?
Make a combo out of the shark.
Yeah, Michael might have shot Sawyer. No, tricked, bamboozled. He's on the pontoon. It's fine.
Harry, you're alive, and you're a terrible shot.
They get onto the pontoon. This is just them moving from wreckage to wreckage. This episode, just like this was fine, but then it wasn't. We moved too much. We broke it. This one, hopefully this big piece of wreckage will probably be fine. It's the biggest piece. It's probably it was the foundation of the raft. Hypothetically, it might be the most well put together.
Yeah,
it makes sense to me. Sure. Cut to a flashback. So this is obviously not New York.
No.
I don't know if anybody out there knows it, but those kind of trees, they don't have those in New York. Those are really only in like tropical places, namely Honolulu.
Honolulu and Long Island.
So yeah, not New York, obviously Hawaii.
Yeah.
But I guess you make do. I don't know if there's any part of Oahu that looks even remotely like New York, any of the parks in New York. So you doing what you can.
Sure.
Susan has brought Walt, who is just a little guy, just a tyke, out to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
It was kind of sweet, I guess. I don't know. Sort of.
I didn't really care.
Yeah.
I just don't care.
Yeah, like at the end of it was just like, okay, Michael went along with the out. He took it.
Yeah.
He didn't have to. He did. He made a choice. Sure. Whether or not he's right, he has made a decision based on what he believes is best for Walt.
Or at least what he's convincing himself is best for Walt.
Which is, at the end of the day, something a father would do, I suppose. Or you hope.
Sure.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's no way to know if he's right or wrong. Really. Sure. Especially at this juncture. But
yeah. He's got a little stuffed polar bear for him.
Ah!
Yeah.
There's polar bears in Lost, Charlie. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Well, hearing about it, people talk about polar bears because it's a tropical island.
Yeah.
Yes,
Why is there a polar bear here?
Makes total sense. Yeah, they say goodbye. Cut back to the raft. It's morning.
Yep. They got in a little bit of sleep. Michael's crying.
He's on the crying canoe.
Yep. He's obviously broken up about the memories that he's living through. That's one thing that's always unclear about these flashbacks is when they're for a centric character, is this what they're thinking about while the present day shit is happening, or are we the audience just seeing it?
Sure.
But he's regardless, he lost his son. He wants to get it back. He's
still
committed.
Fucked up. He lost his son, but
he's committed. He's like, I'm getting him back, and it's probably he'll have a shot at it because it turns out they're drifting back toward the island.
Yeah,
they're not drifting further out to sea. The current's bringing them back toward home, as Sawyer puts it. That was disheartening. We're home.
Yeah. I mean, but sight for sore eyes, it's better to end up back on the island than literally dying of dehydration out on the water.
Yeah, and then eventually your corpse being eaten by a shark.
Also he has a bullet wound.
Yeah. They reach the beach. They're collecting themselves, and then they hear shouting from the jungle. Ah! Michael! Sawyer! Michael! Sawyer! Jin! Jin! Yeah, it comes out of the tree line, and awesome. It's good to see that Jin's still alive. Holy shit, his hands are tied behind his back.
Uh-oh.
That's not a great sign.
Did he find the other half of the handcuff?
He comes right up to the beach and loses his footing. That's what happens when you run on sand. Like, I always hate it in movies and TV where somebody's running and then they fall down just because it's like amplifies the tension and everything like that. It's hard to run in sand. I buy it. It sucks. His hands are tied too. Like, that makes sense. He's speaking partially in Korean, partially in Jin
English words.
Michael and Sawyer's names. And then he starts repeating others. The captions literally say udders.
He's trying his fucking best, okay?
Yeah. And then he looks off with one last others. And the camera turns, and this dark shot, markedly color colored darker.
Yeah.
With these 4 people in shadow approaching them and then smash to black.
Yeah.
Lost. Adrift.
Yeah, we know that is the tailies. One of them very much looks like the silhouette of Mr. Echo, and the other ones look like cavemen and women, and it's really misrepresentative of who it actually is.
Yes, that was actually AAA Adewale, and then there was 3 extras.
Yeah.
Bernard and Libby had not been cast yet. Sam Anderson and Cynthia Watros, who played Aaron on Titus for 3 seasons. And then Cindy was always like kind of a background person, so like they went back and got Cindy later. But that's it.
Adrift. Holy shit. Yeah, did we like it? Was it good? That's what we try to answer on this show. Charlie, why don't you start us off here? Did you like this, and was it good?
No.
Correct and correct.
That's fair, yeah.
Do you care to elaborate?
There were little things that I liked, like again the Mary scene, or like I don't know, the stuff in the bunker was interesting.
Sure.
I didn't care about anything on the raft. I really didn't like Sawyer, whose name I don't think was said until
close to the end, probably. When Jen
right before
said
the shark happened. Yeah, right after the shark happened.
Yeah.
Because I was like just shot guy, because they couldn't hear his name.
The
ever.
shot guy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Also, I forgot to say earlier, I really hated Kate's pants.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. They're low cut pants, and I think they look dumb.
Yeah,
just wanted to say that.
You guys remember that phase of American culture in which women only wore low cut pants, and I remember when we transitioned out of that phase into like more appropriately waisted pants for women and feminine presenting people. Mm-hmm. Into like a higher waisted garment, and at first I was against it. I'm gonna come clean and say like, nah, man, we got to be able to see them hip bones and shit. But I've changed my mind on it. If we ever go back to low cut pants on women and feminine presenting people, I might gouge my own eyes out. I would rather see people wearing something that looks comfortable.
Well, and also it promoted the idea of basically just like, don't eat, so that we can see your fucking
that part
abdomen.
Too. Yeah, exactly.
However, that style was around during my sexual awakening, so I'll always have a small soft spot for it.
Small hard spot. Heyo.
From a real gross place in the back of my mind where this episode is also going to live. Adam, did you like it? Was it good?
I didn't hate it, but basically my critique from Man of Science, Man of Faith stands. You take some of the bullshit out of that and take the stuff from this that's important, and you put those two together. That makes a better opening to season 2. It felt a little wheel spinny, and a lot of the raft scenes felt repetitive, and So I didn't hate it. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
It's whatever. There's between this episode and the episode prior, there's one good episode between these two.
Yeah.
JP.
I did not like this episode. The holes that it filled in were not needed. We're adults. We can figure out that Desmond got the jump on Locke.
Sure.
All we really need to fill in is like Kate in the vents. That could have just been a scene in a different episode. We don't learn anything useful about Michael. We already knew he was a deadbeat dad. He's still a deadbeat dad. He's really good at losing his son. That's about it. Yeah, nothing about this episode entertained me in any way, shape, or form.
What about Kate's cleavage?
Well, of course, Charlie. But and when John Locke took his shoes off, yeah, good foot stuff. And he had Dorothy. That's always good.
Yeah.
Is that the big knife or the little knife?
That's the big knife.
The big knife is Dorothy.
Oh, okay.
The little one is apparently Reba. That came out of my mouth earlier in this episode with no prior thought, and now it's lost on Lost canon.
Yeah, it's canonical, baby. Love it. Let's get into some MVPs, shall we?
Yeah, might as well, right?
Lost MVP. So even though this was a bit of a stinker of an episode, still somebody had to come in first place. Somebody has to win the gold medal, Charlie. I know this is going to be tough.
Shit. Hold on. Before we do that, I did want to mention one thing about what I liked about the episode. The final shot, the final scene of Michael Sawyer getting to the thing, and then Jin coming out of the woods, and then the final shot of the approaching others. If you're watching the show in chronological order, if you're watching it back in 2005, that fucking rules. That last 30 seconds is awesome, and that makes you come back next week. It does not redeem the rest of the episode.
Well, how far down the road is the other 48 as well? Like,
I think you got to wait 4 weeks or so, give or take.
So we don't know what the fuck happens to.
Yep. From here, we go to orientation. Orientation is all Hatch explanation stuff. After that is Everybody Hates Hugo, which is the lottery story. And then right after that is Anne found Sun and Jin, and them, part of them falling in love, and then Abandoned, which is kind of a whatever episode with Shannon. That's Shannon's death, and then the 48 days. 48 days.
So that, in terms of like, we know we're not going to come back to this for a while, let's leave him hanging on something. That's pretty fucking good.
Yeah. So, but again, does not redeem the rest of the episode. Anyway, back to MVPs.
I'm gonna go with the lawyer. I liked him.
Michael's lawyer.
Yeah,
sure.
He's the only honest lawyer who's like, I'm a piece of shit.
Like, I'm not good at this, and I can't, my skill cannot justify charging any more than I charge. But you're still here. And I'm not going to win.
Yeah. The actor was in Stargate. That's what I know him from.
There you go. Yeah, Stargate.
Oh, yeah.
Charlie, you're a big SG-1 fan. You did the whole fucking run while we were in college.
Yes, I should probably rewatch that. I have a clock over there. That's the gate.
That's a lot of fucking Stargate.
Why didn't you mention at the top that Stephen Williams' brother is Peter Williams, who played a Popsis on Stargate?
A Popsis? You keep putting an extra P in there.
No, there's 2 P's in it.
Adam, who's your fucking MVP?
Jin, for being the most interesting part of the episode.
25 seconds.
Yeah, he comes running out of the tree line. He's tied up and he's running from some spooky ass people. That's dope as hell. Yeah. Get away from those people, Jin. Help the 2 idiots who spent the entire episode blaming each other for getting stuck on a raft.
Sure.
JP.
Because I have to give it to somebody, I'm going to give it to Sawyer. He had every right to strangle the life out of Michael, or to not let him survive, or to just let him go float off on his own. And he's really trying to, like, I understand he's yelling at me out of a place of anger. I'm trying to just make the best out of this situation without being a complete cock. So, not that he did anything particularly good. He just didn't do anything egregiously wrong. So I'll give it to Sawyer. So, and he doesn't have a lot of MVP votes, so I feel like that'll help his stats a little bit.
Sure.
Now let's get into what I'm really excited for. Lost Forever is Who Sucks Shit, who is in last place, who did we wish would have drowned on the raft. Charlie, start us off with your Lost Forever.
I really didn't care for Sawyer at all. He just didn't seem like a good actor, and I was kind of surprised that he was in a main character on a hit TV show in 2005, because he seemed not good at his job.
You go to hell.
Nice.
Adam.
Michael became my number 1 pick very early during the blaming scene, and nobody knocked him off of the thing. So, like, he got less exhausting as the episode went on, but he ran out to an early lead and nobody overtook him.
Sure.
Michael, that blaming people when finding the blame will solve no problem, that drives me up a fucking wall.
Yeah.
So, JP.
I'm also picking Michael for very similar reasons. I mean, this is supposed to be a Michael episode, but nothing that he does or that we learn about him makes me like him or sympathize with him at all.
Sure.
I'm just like, I'm exhausted by this character who just makes a lot of bad decisions. So that's that.
That's that. Yep.
Wow. Guys, Adrift. This was an episode of television.
I'm sorry, Charlie.
It's okay. I've watched lots of bad things in my life. I like hurting myself sometimes with media, not actual.
I mean, at least it was only 45 minutes. It's like one thing if you watch a shitty movie and it's 2 hours and 15 minutes long. And part of the reason it sucks is because it's half an hour longer than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dudes, this might actually, for me, this might knock Homecoming off of the worst Lost episode.
Oh, man.
I don't know. Maybe it's just because this is so fresh in my mind. Homecoming sucks, but this episode, like, I was hopeful that it would make me feel better about Man of Science, Man of Faith, and all it did was make me feel worse about both of them.
Like I said, there's a real pacing and structure issue with the season 1 finale, the season 2 premiere, and then this.
And then
like, they're not thinking it out, and they're just kind of stretching things out, and it's really poorly just slapped together.
Yeah, certainly seems that way. Charlie, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Tell us more about the YouTube channel. Say more.
Okay. So I release at least 2 new videos a week, but it's usually... So there's 2 old videos each week where I clump them into 3s. So like I'll do like a theme of something.
Okay.
So like right now I'm doing 3 Ingrid Bergman films.
All right.
I did 3 Brendan Fraser movies, 3 iconic 1990 Brendan Fraser films that aren't The Mummy.
Okay.
That was a theme I did one time.
Nice.
That was a good one.
I'm just doing one that's just The Mummy 3 times.
What's your YouTube channel called? So people we'll link it, but what is it called?
It's just Charlie's Movie Reviews with an S. It's actually stupidly hard to find on YouTube for some reason. Like, even though that's the name and I put it in the tags, it's technically easier to Google it and then put in YouTube at the end of it.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
It's the dumbest thing. It's easier to find now, but it's dumb.
Sure.
I think my favorite episode might be the one where I did 3 softcore porn movies that were on YouTube.
Nice.
Yeah, and so I was also able to download them totally legally, and then cut them into the video so you can see. Well, I censor the nudity, so I don't get in trouble.
Coward.
I like how I censored it, and it's great.
Awesome. Well, we will add a link to your YouTube channel in the episode description here, so it's easier for folks to find it. Definitely check it out. And then, Charlie, I need you to send me a link to those 3 softcore porn movies for research.
Yep.
Can do.
Adam, what was that? Is there someone at your door?
Kind of sounds like it. Let me go look. Hang on a sec. Sorry, guys.
Oh, hey, if that's YouTube, we were just joking about downloading all those pornos.
Yeah.
Hiya!
Oh, hey there, Kim Davister, frequent Lost on Lost guest. Oh, what's up? We're recording with Charlie.
That's why I'm here. Are you at the plug section yet?
Yeah, we were just wrapping it up, actually.
Perfect. I have a plug that I'd like to do, but I won't be guesting again until like August, and it's kind of time sensitive. Can I just like squeeze it in real quick?
Sure. Why not? Let's do it. Come on in. Hey, JP, it's Kim.
Oh, so it wasn't YouTube.
Hi, JP.
We're just going to throw in a quick second plug here.
Plug my ass.
Phrasing.
Yeah, I know. I heard it as soon as I started saying it. Just, okay, yeah, second plug. Go, hit it.
Hi, everyone. It's Kim. Fire Department Coffee is starting 2 new clubs this month with the goal of giving support directly back to fire departments from all over the place. First, there's the Fire Department Coffee Club, and then there's the Fire Department Shirt Club. Each month, these 2 clubs will feature a different fire department with a specialty coffee blend and a unique shirt design. $2 from each coffee purchase and $5 from each shirt purchase will go directly to that month's fire department. They're kicking it off here in July 2023 by supporting my department, the Green Bay Metro Fire Department. JP or Adam or someone will put a link somewhere. Not a plug, JP.
Got him.
So go check out the link and sign up or whatever. I'm a firefighter, not a cop. That's it. That's the plug.
Dope.
Hell yeah, love it. We're going to link that in the show notes along with Charlie's YouTube channel. Since you're here, you want to like hang out or?
Can't. Going to play skee ball.
Didn't you just have shoulder surgery?
Not on my skee ball arm. Later, nerds.
Oh, well, yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for stopping by then, I guess.
It was so lovely seeing you.
We're nerds.
Thank you for coming.
She's a peach, isn't she? There you go. 2 plugs. Just check the show notes for links to both the Charlie's movie reviews and the Fire Department Coffee Shirt Club and the Fire Department Coffee Club. We'll link it. JP, what are we watching next time?
Oh man, next time if you want to be lost with us, we're going to be watching season 3, episode 13, The Man from Tallahassee, which sounds like a sex move, starring my sweet baby boy, Johnny Locke.
There is one specific thing in this episode that I very much remember, and it's fucking awesome.
Is it? In a good TV way, or in a good we have a podcast about this TV show way?
Both. Either.
Okay.
I don't know. It's definitely an awesome Lost thing.
All right. Fantastic.
So, yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, that's it for everybody. Thank you out there for tuning in. Thanks, Charlie, for stopping by. Thank you, JP, for doing the show with me. And I'm Adam.
I'm JP.
Do you have any idea what's going on in the show?
Nope.
Me neither. Lost on Lost is produced and edited by me and JP.
We wish to acknowledge that we live, work, and produce our show on occupied land.
Burbank, California is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Tongva, Chumash, Kizh, and Fernandino Tataviam peoples.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Peoria, Potawatomi, Miama, and Ho-Chunk peoples.
And Lost was produced in Hawaii on the lands of the Kanaka Maoli.
Visit native-land.ca to learn more about the land you live and work on.
You can engage with us on IG, Facebook, and Twitter at Lost on Lost 1.
You can also email us at wearelostonlost@gmail.com or support us with dollar monies at coffee.com/wearelostonlost.
Thanks to Lostpedia and its community of contributors, Danny Schmitz, random.org, and as always, you the listeners for tuning in.
We're hosted at Podbean. You can hear us there or wherever you get your podcasts, except MySpace. We're not on MySpace.
Yet.